The Lake Erie Grape Discovery Center is the official visitor center for the New York State Lake Erie Concord Grape Belt Heritage Area. Supporting and promoting the grape industry, visit us and learn about grape growing history in the Lake Erie region. Shop for grapey gifts, taste local wine in a Concord vineyard. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and happy Saturday to you. Well, we had a couple of thunder boomers during the night, but it's kind of okay right now. I don't know. I think we're going to have a few more showers today. I think the tomato plants need it. Mine were a little wilted the other day, so take what you can get. But the days coming up looks like it's going to be a pretty nice week. So welcome to all of you that are vacationing here in Chautauqua County. We got a great county, and there's so much to explore here, and I hope you have a great experience. Welcome to all our folks and friends that are coming back, or maybe your first time at Chautauqua Institution. Awesome place, and it's just as awesome as the county that surrounds it. Throughout the show today, because we have a very interesting topic, things that we're going to talk about today are going to make you think a little bit about things around you, people around you. And if you have a question or you have a comment, give us a call at 753-5225. I know we don't always get a lot of calls here, but don't be shy. It's real easy. Just call the number. A pleasant person will answer the phone. They'll put you on hold. They'll say, Doc, you got a phone call, and then we'll talk to you live. If you are super shy, you can call the studio at that number and just leave your question, and then they'll tell me through my earpiece. And we'll handle it that way. You can Twitter us, you can go to our Facebook in the future, and as always, if you are interested in knowing more about today's topic, we will be on YouTube forever and forever. Chris has his show posted by Sunday morning or afternoon as a rule, so you can always look it up by topic, by name, by date, I suppose, and they're all out there. I think we're on show 158 or something like that. Every single show, all the shows that we've done so far are on YouTube. So it's a nice library of information, especially about the topics that we talk about here today and the weeks to come. All right, I have a lot to share with you. And first of all, I want to thank Access 5, Chuck Kelsey, all the crew here, and Chris Burt with his show Destination Chautauqua. We had a ball Tuesday at the Mayville Parade. And if you haven't caught the parade on TV, yet. It's on twice a day, I believe, here. And we also are on YouTube. And Rick Mascaro was my co-host this year, and we just had a blast. I always kind of listen to shows to see how much dead air there is between announcements and talks and things of this nature. Rick just kept things moving with me, and it was just a great time, and got to talk to some fabulous people in the parade, and got to see a lot of people marching for various causes and organizations. So what a great day, Mayville. You were really shining, and it was lots of fun. So thanks, everyone. Mayville Parade is in the books, in the record books, and now we have some other events coming up. And if you're bored today or over the weekend or the weeks that come, get your paper and pencil out, because you want to mark down some of these things that are coming up in the next either days or hours or weeks. All right, we're going to start out right off the bat on my first page here. I got lots of good stuff. We're going to bounce all over Chautauqua County, so let's go to Jamestown right off the bat. My good friends at Infinity down there on 2nd Street, they have a summer camp called Spend Your Summer Exploring the Arts. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center is a fun-filled lineup of day camps and mini camps for summer 2017 that you're not going to want to miss. Day camps include music and art. They have a music and arts time machine. That would be fun, going back in time. Center Stage Academy, Infinity's excellent adventure. For camp descriptions or a list of mini camps, visit Infinity online at infinityperformingarts.org or call them at 664-0991. Camp experiences are available for all ages and skill levels. Instructor Talent Showcase is coming up, and this is where they'll be showcasing the talents of their staff on July 21 at 7 p.m. This is an excellent chance to meet the faculty and the instructors as you might enjoy their creative talents. Student performers will also be joining their instructors on stage. This event is free, family-friendly, and open to the public. As always, all their events are always family-friendly, so you don't have to worry about embarrassment or hearing things that little ears shouldn't be hearing. Now, listen to this. Music, art, dance, theater students of all ages are welcome to enroll in private and group lessons. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center will hold a new student orientation and intake session on Thursday, July 20th. Mark that on your calendar. Please contact Infinity to register for a session and reserve your spot today. Students may also register online to be contacted for an orientation slot. Orientation sessions last approximately 30 minutes, including a tour of the Infinity Center and opportunities to meet Infinity staff members and schedule lessons. They're also looking for volunteers for the 14th Annual Local Music Showcase, and that's coming up on September 9th, and we've talked a little bit about that already, and that's where bands donate their time, and they play at various local venues, all to raise funds for Infinity. So if you're interested in being a volunteer, helping out, manning the door, handing out things, or collecting money, contact Stephanie Rogers at theinfinityperformingarts.org. Right now, I want to remind you that we will be rebroadcast at WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. And I want to welcome our Tuesday afternoon listeners to the show. I always have to remember that we're going to be on TV throughout the week, and that we also will be on the radio. So you can catch this show Tuesdays at 1 o'clock on WRFA. The Grape Discovery Center is still looking for, and will always be looking for, volunteers to help during their spring and summer fall sessions. Anyone interested should contact them at 326-2003. And I tell you this because it's a lot of fun over there, and they have all kinds of folks coming in from around the world on bus tours and so forth, and we like to show off what's going on here, especially this part of Chautauqua County. Right along with that, the Grape Belt Open Golf Tournament. This is a new one. Okay, it's being sponsored by the Grape Discovery Center. Let me tell you a little bit about it real quick. It's going to be held August 12th, rain date the 13th. It's an 18-hole, four-person scramble. I don't know all these golf terms, but I know scramble is one of them. I'm not exact. I think they all show up at different holes at the same time. You sign in at 8:15. Shotguns start at 9 a.m. $65 per player. Refreshments and dinner awards included. It's going to be held at Pinehurst Golf Club in Westfield, New York. For more information, give them a call at 326-5292 or drop in at the Grape Discovery Center. All right, let's go up to Dunkirk. My good friends at the Dunkirk Fredonia Rotary Club, they're having their 53rd fly-in breakfast. It's going to be held tomorrow. Last time we're going to talk about it. So, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Excuse me, not 9 a.m., it's July 9th. 8 a.m. to 12. All you can eat pancakes, eggs, sausage, coffee, juice. Adults, $7. What a steal. Children under 12, $4. You can't even get something from fast food for $4. All proceeds benefit local charities, as Rotary always does. Public is welcome, free parking, and then also available are airplane rides, a craft show, and sale. Famous, I didn't realize it was as famous, basket raffle, door prizes, a 50-50 raffle, and a whole lot more, and just a lot of fun looking at all the crazy airplanes that they have there. Tickets are available at the door or through a Rotarian, and this is being held right there at the airport in Dunkirk. Okay, let's go on now to Westfield. We'll slide back. A reminder that the Red campaign with a hole-in-one challenge is coming up. The Westfield Memorial Hospital Foundation is pleased to announce Schultz Auto Group is a hole-in-one sponsor for the Westfield Memorial Hospital Foundation's 25th annual golf tournament to be held on Friday, July 14th. That's next week, next Friday. The hole-in-one contest offers amateur golfers participating in the tournament opportunity to compete for a chance to win a 2017 Chevy Cruze. This fun and exciting silver anniversary event will be held on the lake course at Chautauqua Golf Club. This is for amateur golfers. What's less than amateur? And me, yeah. I'm not allowed to golf. There are still openings available for those who want to join in the fun and support our community hospital's latest project. The proceeds from the event will benefit the Hospital Foundation's $650,000 Renovate Our Emergency Department, or what they refer to as the RED campaign. For more information about this year's golf tournament, including registration or sponsorship, along with complete schedule, and to learn more about the RED campaign, call Patty DePalma at 793-2338 or visit their website at westfieldhospitalfoundation.org. And just as an aside, if you are part of the golf tournament, I will be there helping out Friday morning. So be sure to stop by and say hi. All right, let's continue on. Let's go over to Bemis Point. I think this is a new one. Join the Maple Grove Girls Varsity Volleyball Team. Learn a bit of Bemis Point history while touring on a horse-drawn trolley. July 15th, $10 per person, 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. Wait a minute. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. My glasses are doing something weird here. Please call today to reserve your time. Only 20 seats per trolley. Book today. Guests will begin at the Bemis Point Historical Society and then board a horse-drawn trolley to tour Bemis and hear a bit about the history from their volleyball girls. I wonder if they're going to get a history credit for this. The tour will be approximately 40 minutes. Donations help the girls attend team camp. It should be a great evening. For more information, give Tony a call at 643449. And thank you to the Bemis Point Historical Society, Cracker Jack Farms, and the Maple Grove Volleyball supporters. Page 3 coming up. I'm looking real quick. This is next week. The annual Westfield Antique Show, sponsored by the Chautauqua County Historical Society, will be celebrating its 79th consecutive year. Just like in past years, there's going to be a wide variety of items on display and available for sale. This year's Antique Show will be held the 15th of July from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the following day, Sunday, July 16th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Easton Hall in downtown Westfield, New York. The event will feature antique furniture, dining sets, glassware, silver, jewelry, and much, much more. there are offerings from 20 different dealers who will be in attendance. Admission for the Westfield Antique Show is $5 for both days. Free parking is available at the municipal lot on Elm Street, which is about a half a block from Easton Hall, real easy to get to. Free street parking is available on all streets surrounding Moore Park, at the corner of 20 and 394. For more information, including directions, please visit westfieldantiqueshow.com or contact them at the Historical Society at 326-2977. All right, let's go on to the next slide here. Let's go to Celeron. All right, Ron and Nancy One Song will be performing at the Celeron Legion Post 777 in Jamestown, New York on Sunday, July 16th. The concert will start at 2 p.m. They performed at the Ryman Auditorium, Nashville, nightlife, and all over the place, out in San Diego and so forth. They've been on the radio, television broadcast, and they've hosted a live show on WXRL for a very long time. The show will feature Gene Hiltz of West Valley on steel guitar. Gene is one of the most accomplished steel guitarists in New York State. The Celeron Legion Post is located at 26 Jackson Avenue in Jamestown. For more information for the show, 483-0777. Okay, coming up, we've been talking about this a little bit up till now. Mark your calendars for this one. Christmas in July, Toys for Tots. It's going to be held July 29th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Resource Center's administrative offices on 200 Dunham in Celeron. So we're staying with Celeron here for a minute. So looking for vendors, 8-foot tables for $25, double space $40, and each vendor would be required to contribute an item for their Chinese auction. All money benefits Toys for Tots. This is the number that's staggering to me. I say it every week. This will help 2,400 children in the community. That's a lot. To learn more about this particular event, give Evelyn Wright Kegelmeyer a call at 661-1429. Okay, this next one is a new one. There's a benefit going to be held for Deanna Coggins, someone I know personally, at the Moose Lodge in Hamburg at 45 Church Street. Now, the reason why I mention this one, because Deanna is actually a Chautauqua resident, but the event's going to be held in Hamburg. It's going to be on August 6th from 2 p.m. till close. Tickets are $25, available in advance. There's going to be food, beer, pop, Chinese auction, and a 50-50. It'll be benefiting medical expenses related to a stroke and aneurysm. Deanna is presently in absolute care in Dunkirk. If you know Deanna, she's a swell person, and we hope that she continues in her progress in her rehabilitation. All right, let's go down to Jamestown. Jamestown Chamber of Commerce will present Jamestown Cruisin' August 18th in downtown Jamestown. This event will harken back to the roots of the original event, featuring classic cars, live music, fun activities for all ages. We're not going to go through everything on all this because it's coming up in August, but mark down August 18th. But for more information, if you're interested, give them a call at 338-6089, and we'll give you more information as we go along in the next few weeks. And here's another one that's going to be held in August, and this is a mark your calendar as well. This would be the next day, Saturday, August 19th, at Webb's Miniature Golf in Mayville at 9 a.m. The Westfield Mayville Rotary Club is sponsoring a little mini golf tournament, and the proceeds are going to go to the Rotaries Foundation that supports Polio Plus. In other words, eradicating polio from the world. If you're interested, a team entry fee of $50 for 4 people will get 18 holes of mini golf. Whole sponsorship of $50 is available if people are interested. Overall sponsor is still being sought for $500. Every dollar raised has the potential to become 6 because of the matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through the Rotary International. It's a rain or shine. And if you want more information, you can call me here at the station, and I'll talk to you later on, and we'll get you more information. So anyways, mini golf tournament, August 19th at Webb's, starting at 9 a.m. I'm going to be in that. I'm positive. Miniature golf I can handle, Randy. All right, folks, that wraps up our announcements for today. So keep them coming, and we'll keep announcing them. We're going to a public service announcement, and we're going to be right back. Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Okay, so there you go. And more and more people I run into these days are going to rescue canine centers, and they're getting pets, and they're having a great success with it. My wife is always pestering me to get Max a little friend, and I keep reminding her, Max is a full-time job. We don't need 2 full-time jobs. But I love dogs. All right. Today we're going to talk about a pretty sobering discussion, and we're going to talk about what's going on here in Chautauqua County, the state, the world, the nation around us with the drug addiction and other kinds of substance addiction. I'll tell you a little story here. And I told my guest that I was going to kind of frame the topic, and I was going to tell her something that was kind of cool that she doesn't know at this point. When I was growing up, probably I was 8 or 9 years old, my mom took on a job as office manager of an agency in Buffalo. And it turns out it was called the Buffalo Area Council on Alcoholism. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And imagine growing up with getting brochures on a regular basis in front of your nose and little comic books about the evils of drinking and all that sort of thing. Well, thank goodness my mom set us straight early on, because as it turns out, genetically, we've had a lot of issues in my family tree with alcoholism and other kinds of issues. And so it was an interesting life growing up with my mom working for the agency for like 25 years. And so today we're going to talk about the Chautauqua version of what I lived for all those years. So I want to welcome Melanie Witkowski, who is the director of CASAC, which is the Chautauqua Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council. That's a mouthful.
Exactly why we call it CASAC.
CASAC. Okay. So, Melanie, you are the new director, correct? I mean, how long have you been in the job?
Well, in this role, I've been here for about a year.
Okay.
I've been with CASAC since 2005.
Okay.
So a total of 12 years altogether. Started out as a prevention educator and kind of worked my way up to the executive director position.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Like we were saying before, I knew Pat Munson over the years, and being in the world of education and your agency doing educational outreach and things like that, we always kind of touched each other over the years. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get to the heart of the matter here.
Sure. Well, I went to school at SUNY Fredonia, Fredonia State now, and I also got my master's degree from Walden University in education, and I came into CASAC being an educator, and they were looking for a teacher, and that's kind of where I started off. I received my CPP, which is basically the Credential Prevention Professional, based on trainings and hours that I've received through OASIS credits.
Do you notice there are no simple titles? Say that again, credentialed what?
Credentialed Prevention Professional.
Prevention Professional. Okay, gotcha. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, most people haven't heard of it. But yes, it's basically learning the ins and outs of prevention as it relates to alcohol and substance use. And most of the credit hours and the trainings that we receive is directly through the state, and that's through the Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council.
They have their own
services.
office now? Is that a new office?
No, this is the state office. So
How long has that been in existence, you know? I guess I've never heard that as an office before.
Yes, well, that's the state one out of Albany, and so we are partly funded through OASIS.
Okay. I have heard of Oasis. All right, gotcha. All right, so are you from Chautauqua County originally?
I am not. I'm originally from Allegheny County. I
not far away.
Grew up in Wellsville, Andover, New York, very small little town.
I know the area.
Then moved here to go to college at Fredonia State. So that's what brought me here. Then I found my husband, and
where was he? He was hiding.
He was hiding. Yes, he was in Dunkirk, Fredonia area. So met him, and now I'm here for good.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Here's an interesting thing that you did not know. I did not know until just now. My PhD I got at Walden University.
Oh, did you really?
Really?
Wow.
That was a great experience.
Small world.
Yeah,
Yes.
and well, we'll talk about that another day. A lot of people don't know about all these things. But anyways, yeah, that was a great thing. All right, so you are a credentialed prevention professional. A lot of P's in there. So what is the mission of CASAC, or the Chautauqua Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council? That's the last time I'll say the whole thing.
Our mission is to build a healthy and safe environment by educating the community on positive life choices. So our goal is not just to bring awareness on alcohol and substances and the risks associated with it, but really focusing on the whys. Why are people using? And a lot of our prevention programs that we provide within the school districts, within youth agencies, businesses, really focuses on how to build resiliency amongst youth. So our programs provide, self-esteem building, self-improvement, how to make good decisions, how to cope with anxiety, frustration, how to focus, coping with stress in general. A lot of these things are the reason why people start using to begin with. So if we can work on those skills and build them up, our hope is that we will prevent those individuals from starting and, leading into an issue or a problem down the road.
True or false? If you were to talk to someone that was abusing a substance, I don't care what it is, would you find very often that you could roll back their life story and you'd find that they were probably using like at 12 years old?
Absolutely. Actually, we have our Pride survey that we use. We had about 2,200 people, students between the ages of 12 and 18 years old that participated in a Pride survey. And we look at the age of first use. On average, it's about 12 years old that use across the board.
I told you I knew this
Yep.
stuff. I clearly remember when we were kids that seemed to be, for whatever reason, the rite of passage to experiment with things. I don't know if it was just happens over the summer or if the chemistry in the brain kicks in or something or other, but that just seems like the age of experimentation, to find out you're not quite a little kid anymore, you're not quite a young adult, you're sort of in that between stage.
Right.
And pressure's starting to build up.
Absolutely.
Where does bullying come in all this?
Well, and it's interesting you say that. That's one of my passions is bullying prevention.
You did not tell me that before the show.
I know, I
did you?
did not.
See, I told you, I'm really good at this.
And really that, all the things that we talk about within the schools and with the students that we're working with goes above and beyond alcohol and substance use. Using alcohol and substances a lot of times starts from what are the concerns that they have? What are the social, determinants that they're dealing with? Is it bullying? Is it, self-esteem, lack of self-esteem? Is it that they have dysfunction in the home? So a lot of that times we focus on how can I handle a bullying situation? And when we talk about assertiveness skills, that's one of the biggest things that we work on with the students in the school districts is, how can I be more assertive? What can I do to let that person that's bullying me know that I'm not going to accept it anymore? So we talk about those strategies. We actually role play it. We put them in a live situation where, okay, this is happening in your school. You're being confronted by a student that's trying to bully you. How can you be more assertive? Well, you can have excellent eye contact. When you have eye contact with individuals that you're talking with, you are more likely to be more believable and look more confident in yourself. We talk about your body language. You don't want to be just hunched over. We want you to have more firm approach. Again, if you look more, positive and more confident in yourself, they're going to back down from you. And also your tone of voice. It's not only what you say to that individual, it's that tone of voice. We don't want you to be too shy and quiet. We don't want you to be too loud and be aggressive, but we want you to be firm.
So this is where the prevention comes in, right?
Absolutely.
So, and folks, remember, if you have a question for Melanie or you have a comment, please give us a call, 753-5225. So the things you mentioned are triggers, whether it's stress at home, peer pressure, bullying situations, and I'm going to ask the question. I know the answer, but I'll have you answer it. what I have found that so many people, adults and children, there's no age limitation on any of this, that they use these substances to supposedly feel better, but the end result is what?
They don't. Pain. End result is pain.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better.
No, it
it's
doesn't.
temporary, right?
It's temporarily. I mean, basically, once you're using a substance, after that substance gets out of your system, that pain's still going to exist.
It's still there. You
It's
haven't
still
fixed
there.
anything.
And what happens down the road if somebody continues to use and build up that tolerance and build up that dependence and unfortunately reach into that point of addiction, what you are left with is more pain than when you originally started with. That's why it's so critical that we work with our kids on explaining that process of addiction, explaining what are those other positive things that you can do, healthy options to deal with those stressors that you deal in life, because we're always going to have stress, whether it's during your teenage years having an exam, being bullied by somebody else, or you're in a work environment where you're being bullied, perhaps even. You're always going to have those struggles that you're confronted with, and it's so important to find those positive ways to deal with them.
Okay, so I bounced around a little bit with you. So your agency is about education and prevention, and we've talked about some of the things that triggers people to use substances, because that's in the title of your agency. But we haven't talked about what is addiction. We haven't talked about what is appropriate use of alcohol, what's appropriate use of whatever. And so what separates people that may be listening right now and saying, look, I drink, I'm not an addict, I'm not an alcoholic, I use whatever correctly, I'm under doctor's care or whatever. What separates them from the addict?
Okay, that's a really good question, and that's one that we focus on with individuals that come to see us. So the Center of Disease Control, we talk about binge drinking a lot with our students as well as adults. For females, it's about 4 drinks in a time period is considered binge drinking. For a male, it's 5 drinks or more. So if somebody's binge drinking, whether they're doing it on a daily basis or they're holding all their liquor towards the weekend, it's going to have harmful effects on their body. When we see in the obituaries problems associated with cirrhosis of the liver, cancer, heart disease, a lot of those things that you're seeing are directly correlated to the abuse of alcohol. So if somebody is binge drinking 5 or 6, I'm not going to necessarily say they are addicted, but is there problems associated with that? If they're getting a DWI, having marital problems, loss of a job, if we're talking about teenagers, their grades are going down, it's evidence that alcohol has become a dependency for them. Not necessarily addiction, but dependency.
Okay, so it's like an earlier step? Perhaps?
Right, it's a step up. So it's basically the next step. Use, no problem, social use, then we go up to that tolerance, then we go up to that dependence. And what separates dependence from addiction is, if let's say you have an individual that is drinking alcohol, and we ask them, just drink one beverage, put it down. Can you do that? If a person can't literally take that switch and be able to say, okay, I'm not going to have any more, that's a concern. And that sort of that premeditated, that belief that I need to have that alcohol all the time, it basically becomes their relationship. So all those things that used to be their relationship, their friends, their family, their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, those things are all going to be affected. It's sort of that domino effect.
So you're saying if you're dependent on alcohol, for instance, you're talking 5 drinks a day?
If you're dependent, no, I don't want to say that's a dependency, but if you're binge drinking, there's definitely a health concern, and that's the abuse of alcohol. It's not necessarily addiction.
All right. I've been seeing in various circles, whether it's on Facebook or family members or whatever, moonshine. Moonshine seems to be the big rage these days. People are making it legally at home, I guess, and they are bringing mason jars full of this stuff, and they're going out in the woods and they're partying and so forth. Again, to each his own, as long as you're responsible with what you're doing. But to me, when you're walking in with cases of these mason jars for a small group of people, and you're drinking moonshine and beers and shots and all these things, where's the control on some of this stuff? I mean, that's kind of like playing with fire, isn't
Playing
it?
with fire, absolutely. And you know what we talk about with students again is a standard drink conversion. You know, what is a standard drink? So when I'm talking about somebody having 5 drinks in a time period, we're talking about a standard drink: 12-ounce can of beer, 5-ounce glass of wine, you know, 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. That's considered one drink. But if somebody's having a whole glass of moonshine,
It looks like water. It's flavored. It tastes like
Right.
watermelon or apple spice or whatever they call it
right.
now.
So if somebody even having one drink of that, you're most likely having 4 drinks in that one drink.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Absolutely. And if somebody having three of those drinks, and we're multiplying now to 12 drinks in a sitting, and that's a huge, tremendous concern.
Growing up, we were always told be careful, because of drunk driving, this and that. But we didn't really know much until later years, I guess, the physical effect of the alcohol in our system. So can you talk a little bit about that, especially for young folks?
Absolutely. And if we can bring up the one slide on the brain.
Sure.
We have the brain development.
Yeah, he's got it. He's locating it right now. Okay, there we go. All right, right now, folks, for watching and listening or not paying attention, whatever, we got 4 brains here. Looks like different colors that we're looking at. So what do we got?
So one of the biggest concerns on why we bring awareness and talk about why we don't want teenagers to drink alcohol. A lot of people think it's a rite of passage, and if they can go into the military, then they should be able to drink. Well, the biggest concern is the development of the brain. So when we're talking about teenagers, so a lot of times when we talk to people on when their brain is developed, we will hear still from kids saying, oh, your brain's developed at birth. Your brain's developed at 5 years old. Your brain's developed at 18 years old. And that's couldn't be further from the truth. The brain actually doesn't fully develop until about 25 to 28 years old. So what you're seeing on this chart is the blue, purple, that is a more mature brain. So your brain actually doesn't develops from the back to the front. So the front part of the brain, you'll see in the 20-year-old, there's still a little bit development that needs to be had. You'll see a little bit of the lighter blue, a little bit of the green. That's showing that there's still development to be had. That's the prefrontal cortex. And this is the part of the brain that develops, that controls basically your decision-making skills, your impulsivity with certain things. And so that's why an individual that starts drinking before the age of 21 is more vulnerable to addiction of alcohol as well as other substances. They're 4 times more likely to get involved and have an issue with addiction if they start using it at an
So
early
this is
age.
really a physical thing.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with whether you can hold your liquor or
Right,
not. It
right.
has to do with that your brain is not prepared to handle this.
Absolutely. And so, when we're talking about decision-making skills and the ability to remember and recall certain information, we need that. Whether we're going to college or we're in a job, in the workforce, we need to be able to have that ability to make a good decision, to have the good memory, to be able to retain information. That's the other piece. If we can't retain information that we are learning in a school-based setting or in a workplace, then we're not going to be able to excel to the best of our ability.
There's a part of the brain, and I can't remember it, and I want to say hypothalamus, but I'm not sure if that's the part, and it's something called amygdala or mugula.
Amygdala.
Amygdala.
Yes.
Something happens to that if
Yes.
you drink too soon, right?
Well, the amygdala basically is like the response, how you react to something. So how I like to explain the amygdala is when somebody's 9 years old, the amygdala is really small. And then after 9 years old, it expands, it gets larger. Okay, so
That's a good thing?
no,
It's supposed to-
not really, because so when we're talking about the teenage brain,
Oh, there's a discussion.
yes, the teenage brain,
Woo!
they're more hyperactive, they're more, impulsive on certain things. So, for example, their feelings are more exaggerated. So,
I've noticed that from my children as they were
yes.
growing up.
so for example, a teenager has a pimple. I like to use this example. Teenager has a pimple on
End of
their
the world.
face.
End of the
yes,
world.
end of the world. Oh my goodness, end of the day. It's very traumatic.
High drama.
Right? Well, after about 25, 28, that amygdala shrinks back down to its normal size.
Okay.
So what happens is when teenagers are using during that time frame when the amygdala is larger, they'll take a drink and they like it. Oh, that was great. I like that, what that did to me. So then they're more likely to continue and have more of
Again,
that.
this physical part of our bodies that we
Absolutely.
didn't know when we were growing up that something's going on
Right.
in our bodies. Like, wow.
Right, and they're not able to basically turn off that switch that, okay, I've had too much to drink. They don't have that ability to do that. However, when the amygdala shrinks down to its normal size after 25, 28 years old, they now can say, okay, I had 2 drinks, I'm starting to feel it, I don't need any more. You know, where a teenager is less likely to be able to do that.
So, if we were to wrap up this little discussion on teen drinking and so forth, in summary, it sounds to me, if all possible, refrain from drinking during those early years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we can try to prevent early onset of use of alcohol as much as possible, then we're going to see our health concerns go down in Chautauqua County. We're going to see a drop in addiction related to alcoholism. We're going to see a drop in drinking and driving incidents. So it's critical. It's so critical to, I know a lot of people think it's legal, so it must be safe. Not true.
Right.
Not true, especially when we are talking about a teenage brain. Again, they're more vulnerable to these issues related to addiction.
Okay.
And you know, there's even that correlation between prescription drugs. So we know that we are dealing with, you know, a heroin opioid epidemic. And, you know, there is a connection. If we have a teenager that's at a teenage party, drinking party, underage drinking, they're drinking alcohol, they're less, you know, they're more likely, I should say, to get involved with prescription drugs because they have less inhibitions. They're not concerned necessarily. They're not making the best decisions. And we know because that prefrontal cortex is not developed yet, and then you add alcohol to that mix.
Which is pickling that little part in their brain.
Absolutely.
Say it again?
The amygdala.
Amygdala, I have to look at that. Amygdala is getting pickled or is getting
Right.
overstimulated,
Right.
and they're not using good reasoning, and therefore they go to the next.
Next step. You know, they're more likely to get involved with, you know, more, I don't want to say more serious drugs or substances, but ones that can cause issues such as getting involved with heroin, you know, and the overdoses that we see. So it is a concern. There is a connection between those.
Okay. I told you before we came on the air that I've had Kathy Young on the show, and she and I talked on the show about legislation to help with the opiate issue, whether it's sponsoring prevention centers or educate, whatever it was, they're trying to funnel some money this way. I talked with Joe Gerasi about law enforcement regarding drug trafficking and what they're doing to help prevent the situation. And yet, I think a month ago, I read a really sobering statistic that said that Chautauqua County, I think, was the #2 county in New York State for babies being born addicted to opiates, with Niagara County being the first.
Absolutely.
So what is going on? We've got legislation, we got money, we got prevention, we got you guys talking to kids, and still we're in trouble.
Well, and I think what you have to look at is when we're talking about addiction of heroin, we have individuals that have, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people that have probably been using for years. So you can't just go in and, you know, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's going to take some time. And with that, I think that's why prevention is so critical. Yes, we need treatment. We need to help those individuals that are struggling right now. But if we want to prevent individuals from, one, getting involved with alcohol, getting involved with marijuana, getting involved with other harder substances such as prescription drugs and heroin, then we need to start right there. We need to start in elementary school. That's and talking about medication safety. You know, we work with little kindergartners at a very young age to talk about medication safety, and that piece is so critical. And so I know a lot of people think that you know, prevention agencies may be getting more money, but we're not. Unfortunately, we have not received any additional funding from the state to be able to provide even more programs. That being said, CASAC, we're making it work. It doesn't matter. We know there's a need, and we are reaching as many places as we can to go for different grants. So we're getting grants through the Youth Bureau. We're getting grants through the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation.
So you're partnering with different agencies?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our new pillars. Our pillars are now collaborate, educate, and motivate, because we believe that we need to collaborate with other places in order to be effective.
I ask you a cold question, and it's okay if it's a no, but are you working with the Children's Safety Village at all?
We do something with the Positive Choices Coalition, which is held right at the Safety Village. So we currently provide, they do a Taste of Independence. So we do that every single year. We're kind of that one-stop shop where somebody might be drug tested, and so they come to us for educational sessions. And so it's kind of a neat mock way for teenagers to see a real-life situation on how to get a job, how to learn about insurance, what happens if you get a DWI, what happens if you test positive for, a drug test.
Okay, a little reality check there.
Right,
Yeah.
so we do participate in that event, which is held every year.
Okay. We've talked a little bit about alcoholism. We're starting to move into the heroin opiate situation. But the question I have right now is going back to that part of the brain, does marijuana and opiates have the same effect on that part of the brain as?
No, and if we can bring up the slide that shows the receptors on the brain, I'll kind of show a little bit of a difference.
Okay.
To show you what exactly happens when people are using opiates. If somebody's using Oxycontin.
Okay, is this the one here?
This one right here. So what you see, the red, orange balls, those are the opioid receptors in your brain. And then the orange balls on top of it, that's the actual medication that somebody might be taking, or it might be the heroin. So what happens is it latches onto these opioid receptors in the brain, and what you see is a huge mass of euphoria, dopamine that's released from the brain. And so what happens is eventually it gets depleted. So all the dopamine that's being pushed out, which is not natural, it depletes it. So the brain can't do it naturally. The brain can't naturally create the dopamine because it's depleted, because it's being used so much by the opioids in the system.
Okay.
So what you'll see on slide number 2 next to it, you'll see that middle opioid receptor, it's feeling withdrawal. Okay, and a mass amount of withdrawal. So when we're talking about the cravings and the withdrawal symptoms, we're talking about, flu-like symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, inability to sleep, shaking, feeling those cold tremors.
Going back to the physical,
Right.
the physical side that we never talk about.
Right, and so you're not necessarily going to see those same withdrawal effects from marijuana as you do opioids. Marijuana, you might just feel sluggish, you might feel tired.
Okay.
It's not nearly anything as to what your withdrawals would be with opioids.
Okay. So, my next question is, and we've talked about it on the show so far, other shows so far. Why the opiate explosion? What's going on out there on the streets?
Well, it all started back with the medication. Purdue was one of the pharmaceutical companies that kind of pushed out Oxycontin as being a safe drug, non-addictive drug. And that basically led to people just prescribing, physicians prescribing these medications because they were basically lied to, saying they were not addictive. And that's where it really starts. If you take a look at the charts, I have some charts on heroin or opioid overdose. You can pull that up. Actually, there's two charts. One that's red with the red bars. If we can pull that one, it shows the difference between the deaths related to opioids and deaths related to car accidents. We'll pull that up.
Okay. I'll bring it up here in a second.
But if you take a look,
Here it comes.
so here we have the red, the drug-induced overdoses deaths. So we have the red bar represents that. You'll see from 2004 all the way to 2013, it just continues to build. And it actually parallels the sales of prescription medications. So as pharmaceutical, it will go up. It goes up right along with the death rates. So you're going to see motor vehicles is now lower than what drug-induced overdoses
motor
are.
vehicle deaths has gone down since 2004, sort of flatline, sort of.
Right.
And then firearms is almost static. It's almost straight across.
Right.
And then every year, it seems like it's going up and up and up. And 2000, I don't know what that last year is there, 2013.
2013. Yeah.
It almost took a little spike.
Right.
And I'm going to guess that line is going to go higher because I read things in the paper, I watch TV. You know, you'll hear 5 people overdosed this weekend on an opiate and they had to give them Narcan, or there was a death of so-and-so. And I'm going to guess that bar is going to go up for our statistics now.
It is going to go up, and I think it's going to go up before it goes down.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you another tough question. This is just my observation right now. Because like I said, I've kind of been tracking this whole issue because it's of concern to me. Having grown up with the Buffalo Area Council Alcoholism General Secretary of the office, I mean, I'm prone to look for these things. My observation has been that people in their mid to late 20s are the ones that are dying. Am I off on that?
Nope,
It seems to me that's the target group right now.
That is the target group.
Why?
Yes. You know, I think we have a few things wrong with Chautauqua County as far as our poverty level. I mean, and again, I bring up the stressors that we have, and I know United Way is working on a huge initiative, and Jamestown's working on a huge initiative for Jamestown, but we also have it in Dunkirk as well. Poverty is a huge concern. You know, mental health is a huge concern that's related not only in Chautauqua County, but all throughout United States. I think there's a big connection between, you know, that inability to handle stress, and I think people are looking for that quick fix, that easy fix. You know, what can I take right now to mask my feelings that I'm having right now? And I think that's wrong, and I think the Center for Disease Control is working on their guidelines and their policies regarding how we should manage pain. You know, it shouldn't be just, okay, I've got a backache, I'm going to take this. Pain is normal, and I think that needs to be included more in conversations with college students, young adults, and even young children.
You know, I have a friend that's a doctor in Germany, and he always comments to me that Americans take way too many pills. Like you said, there's a pill for everything.
Right. There's
and in Europe, they don't do that. They kind of like gut it out a little bit more.
Right. If somebody gets a headache, the automatic thought is, okay, I'm going to take medication. But there could be something else that could prevent it. Am I dehydrated? You know, do I need to take more, you know, iron? Do I need more potassium? Do I need more water? Rather than looking for that quick fix to mask
We're
it.
simply inundated with pills on TV. I mean, if you look, probably take a 3-hour section of TV, let's say from 8 to 11, I'll bet you there's 6 or 7 pill companies.
Absolutely.
And you ever listen to all the side effects?
Yes. And you know what? It's funny you bring that up.
And they're doing it for pets now, too, for your
Right.
dog. And, you know, the side effect for this dog will be, and they'll give, and I'm going like, why would I give that to my dog?
Well, and I that brings up a good point, because I think a lot of people self-diagnose themselves. And so we have the pharmaceutical companies marketing it on TV. United States is only one of 2 countries that advertise prescription medication. So people see this medication and think, oh, you know, that's going to help me, that's going to make me feel better, I'm going to go to the doctor and request that medication, rather than the doctor deciding what route. And I think that's, you know, that it's unfortunate that people are being inundated with these prescription medications on a regular basis. Even children nowadays see these different advertisements that they're seeing. And media is a huge concern. You know, even alcohol. You know, I know that's not prescription drugs, but we even have children that are exposed to these, especially during Super Bowl. All the funny advertisements that we see.
Yeah, it's cool, it's funny. I just got a question in my earpiece was, what's the doctor's role in all this?
I know with the legislation there's more things coming down the pipeline as far as training with prescription drugs and referrals also to other agencies. So I know I met with TLC yesterday.
TLC is?
TLC is the addiction agency out of Casadega.
Okay.
And they have a location also at Silver Creek. So I met with Megan Schmidt, who's the director there, and you know, one of the things that they're working on is I'm blanking on what we just talked about.
You met with TLC.
Yeah.
And we were talking about doctors.
Doctors, okay. Yes, yes,
I'm glad
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
asked
like
the
blanking.
question.
I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm blanking.
I do that.
And I know that she was mentioning that the doctors are basically are going to be adding a screening tool to their regular list of questions.
Good.
So, you know, you've had, she mentioned you basically had a bunch of broken bones from certain incidents, you know. Is it because you're drinking too much alcohol? So there are going to be more questions down the pipeline for individuals, patients that come in.
Okay, so CASAC has been doing work like this, fine work for years, on pretty much education, talking about prevention, talking about things we're talking about today. So, people watching this show today and in days to come, they know somebody or they are somebody that are having some issues with alcohol or substance abuse. What do you tell them? What do you do? Are you a referral agency, or what do you do?
Yes, if you can bring up, there's a intervention services slide, if we can bring that up, and I can show just a few things that we can do.
Okay.
Not only do we go into the schools, not only do we provide services for teenagers that are referred over, but we are having, I'll show that this one is our combat addiction, basically our campaign for the month of July. So this, we've received a little bit of from
Yes.
this from Oasis, so you can contact our office, you can go to oasis.newyork.gov for resources. You can also go to our website, which is www.casagweb.org. But there's also a chart, if we can show the slide that mentions our intervention services, and I'll show you basically what we can do.
Okay, while they're looking for that, can you give some phone numbers they can
Sure,
contact?
absolutely. So this, I'll bring this up first if that's
Sure,
okay.
no, that's fine.
Intervention program for 12 to 19-year-olds. So let's say you have a teenager that you found out they're using marijuana. They're using a substance, they're underage drinking. Refer them over to our program, Teen Intervene. Basically, this is a program that we work one-on-one with individuals. We work on goal setting. We work on the consequences.
What's the cost for this?
It's $50 for 3 sessions.
Okay.
So, and the first session is actually free. If we find that during this process you need to be referred on over to treatment rather than education, we will determine that at the first session.
All right.
So we won't even charge you. If you just want to come, do a brief screening with us, and then we can refer you on over to treatment if needed.
Okay.
We also have other intervention services, such as if you have a child that has a family member that's dealing with addiction. We have our, we work with COAs, they're called Children of Addictions. So if they have a mom, dad that's using, and they need to know a little bit more about the disease of addiction, we can help with that. Not only a child of alcoholics, but also a child of addictions. We also do our family and loved ones of addiction. So a wife or a husband has a spouse that's using. They can come to us, learn a little bit more about addiction, learn about what resources are available, including outpatient, inpatient, and also resources for that individual themselves,
Some support
because they
groups and
need
things.
some social supports as well. So referring them over to Al-Anon, where the AA meetings are, other 12-step groups, a Fresh Start, which is new through Kim Carlson out of Jamestown. So, what resources they can utilize.
Okay, you have 2 offices, I believe?
We have 2 offices. We have our Dunkirk location, which is in the old PROS location psychiatric center. It's on 51 East 3rd Street
And the
in
number
Dunkirk. Is 366-4623. And then we have our Jamestown office located right down the street from the ice arena. It's 664-3608, or you can check out our website at casacweb.org.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, been watching our show today. Melanie Witkowski is the director of the Chautauqua Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council, and we've been talking about what her agency does. Melanie, you got about 40-some seconds left. What information or pieces of advice would you like to tell the viewers and listeners right now?
I think the biggest thing is to know that we have resources in the Chautauqua County. It's just a matter of connecting them to the right people. I will tell you that you brought up briefly the pregnancy and opioids. We have a training coming up the end of July. Family members can attend, nurses, anybody in Chautauqua County, professionals can attend. It's the end of July. We have Dr. Davina Moss-King coming. She's phenomenal. So I recommend even family members attending this.
Okay, well that's about it. That went fast, didn't
It
it?
did go fast.
I told you, these things go quick. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and I hope this was of some interest and of some help to you or a family member. I'm Doc Hamels, and we're going to do this all again next Saturday morning right here at Access 5. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Chautauqua County and all that it has to offer. It's a great place to live. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.